Hello, everybody, and welcome to our check-in. It's such a nice day out today. I'm sorry it's kind of loud. The guy's cutting the grass next door, and honestly, in this house, well, I'm not really pointing, but over in the other direction, they're putting on new siding. So I wanted to talk today about a couple things. One, I just saw something on Facebook where they were talking about like these actors or actresses that did these scenes that were so amazing that this one scene alone would be enough almost to win an award. And one of the scenes that I was watching a clip from was from Doctor Who, and it was about Van Gogh or Van Gogh. I'm trying to think about the appropriate way to pronounce it, but he was an artist, and I'm sure you've seen some of his paintings. If not, you can definitely Google it. But they were talking about, they brought him into the future, and they asked this art critic person or whatever, and they said, what do you think about him? And he was just saying how amazing he was and how he took his pain and he made the world look great. He really focused on the beauty of the world. And it was a powerful scene, and it made me realize that, sometimes, we don't take the things around us or really take the time to appreciate certain things like artwork. I mean, if you get an opportunity to maybe Google some various arts or like museums or something, and you can see, some of the amazing power behind some of these paintings. But in addition, if you can like get outside and I feel like everything is art. You look at the trees and you look at the flowers, or you look at the birds, or you look at people's homes and how they decorate them. All together it makes like these incredible scenes. And it's just, sometimes you just have to sit and appreciate it. Like thinking about, I like to people watch a little bit. Like, you kind of sit and you just watch people walk by, because in our neighborhood, a lot of people walk by. So we get to say hello to people. But it's nice. You see people's different dogs or just like different things, right? So I think sometimes you need to be able to just sit outside and just take a moment and enjoy the sceneries that are around you. If you happen to go away somewhere, maybe you have another place that you can go, obviously that's safe. You can, appreciate if it's like an ocean scene or a beach scene or a lake scene or something. There's just something cool about looking at nature. Now, I'll admit, I'm not the camping type. I'm not going to the woods and look at nature that way, but I'll definitely be happy to walk around a neighborhood and just appreciate the effort that people put into their homes to make them look nice. I'd say I'd show you our house, but like I'm not there yet. So we have a lot of work to do in our house. But another thing that I was thinking about, presenting this summer, and presenting on Zoom and doing certain things of virtual learning, I realized that there are challenges for both involved, right? So for me as a presenter, or me as, like your teacher, there's, challenges that come when you have to teach virtually. On the flip side, I understand that there's challenges that you guys experience or my participants experience when they have to teach virtually. However, I've realized that I've had some pretty fun times over the last couple of weeks presenting, because I've figured out there's ways that you can connect with people, right? Even though it's virtually, having those conversations, maybe a side chat. There's just something nice about seeing people's faces, seeing new faces, and being able to, like if I notice something that's in their back, in their picture or something, I'm like, oh wow, it's really cool artwork or something. And it's been able to allow me to connect with people. So I know there's definitely ways that, in your situation, whether it's family or friends, you can still make those connections even though it's virtually. So I know being home and being quarantined is hard, but we all want to make the best of the situation. And so just figure out new things that you can do, to have that virtual connection. And I was thinking about this quote that I had read about basically, when you have those tough days, you just have to go to sleep, you wake up, take a deep breath, you smile, and you start all over. And I think that's where the advice that I want to go with it for today is that sometimes when you're having a tough time, we let it like stick with us, right? And we just don't want to let it go. And unfortunately, it affects our mood, and then it affects the mood of the people around us. So sometimes we have to compartmentalize and put that moment behind. I would say on the flip side, if something amazing happens, keep that moment and let it progress you for the next day. Because if you having a tough day, then maybe just like we have space and time where you can kind of go and have a seat and regroup, maybe your space and time is going outside and looking at scenery and looking at the trees. I mean, there's certain things that I always wonder. This is like weird, I guess, but like, some of these trees get so tall and I think it's so cool. And then some go straight up, some split out, and some like will hover a branch like this, like super far. And I'm like, how does that thing not fall? A storm will come and what you think is a strong tree will fall. And a tree you think is weak stays. When people, you're walking out and you see the various things. I'm sorry, that's really loud. But that's also like a cool thing, just like lawnmowers going, and then you'll see the grass. To me, cutting the grass is, I feel like I'm all over the place, but to me, cutting the grass is like that same feeling when you vacuum a carpet and it has like all those like awesome lines. That's what your yard looks like. And I love the smell of grass. Unless, of course, you have allergies, and when people are cutting the grass, you're just like, run for cover. It could be crazy. But I just think that, we have to take time to appreciate things. And that could be not even just the scenery. It could be people, right? We sometimes, as a society, we take people for granted. Maybe grandparents for granted, parents and everybody. So we have to make the effort to kind of really connect with people and talk to people. And, I was working with some people recently and who have been from all different states. And, I was talking to a participant today who was from Louisiana. And right away, I felt like I connect with that person because I used to live in Louisiana. So I thought this was kind of cool. But she was telling me about, life down there. And then I noticed she was sitting in this chair that looked so uncomfortable. And she was like, yeah, it's rough. The kids sitting in these chairs is not great. We have to adjust how we do things and how we do virtual learning because we thought it would only be for a short time, and then so they had to switch it up. And to me, I felt comfortable because I felt like, okay, this person is in another state. I don't know this person, but yet she's experiencing the same things we are. So we are kind of all in this together in, this new way of living, at least temporarily, right? So the reason why I say that is a lot of times you guys feel like you're alone. You don't feel like maybe people aren't experiencing the same things as you. Now, I'm only using this virtual learning as an example, but the reality is if there are things that are bothering you or there are things that make you happy, chances are other people have very similar things. That's why you want to reach out to people and try to make some new friends and new connections, because there are people out there that have things in common with you you might not know yet. So I know that's kind of like all over the place, but this is going to be a cool week. I'm excited for this week. For one, my nephew is getting married. I mean, granted, it's going to be via Zoom, but I'll be excited to see it. And I'm also excited, I'm excited for him and his wife because, getting married is such an awesome thing. But keeping in that line, so my nephew's getting married, and then after he gets married, the next day, I'll have my wedding anniversary, which is kind of neat because it's always one of those things where you get to celebrate and you're happy, and you might be the only one that remembers your own anniversary, but see, I was smart. See, I put mine on the inside of my ring, that way I'll never forget. Just advice for you future people out there, if you get married, put it on your ring. Okay, so that aside, I would say this is going to be a fun week. It's beautiful outside. I'm excited to work with new people, and I'm excited to keep making these videos for you guys. And I know a couple people have actually reached out to me and messaged me in Teams, and I got to tell you, it made my day. I was really excited for that. So thank you. I know you guys know who you are, so I appreciate the check-in on the flip side. Okay, so I know this video was kind of weird. I probably didn't know if I made any sense. I'm probably just out here yapping, but get outside, enjoy the beautiful scenery. You know, life is art, right? So get out there and enjoy the art that exists. And I hope you are getting outside. I hope you are playing with your friends, even if it's at a safe distance. I saw some pictures of some of you guys playing softball. Awesome. Whatever you have to do to be safe and also have fun. And I'm thinking about you guys always, even though it's the summer. I'm still thinking about you guys, and I do hope you are all safe and all well. And then I will be sure to make some more videos this week. I promise my next one I'll be more focused. I'm sorry, I feel like I have, as Mrs. Fiore would say, like squirrel brain or whatever, like squirrel, like I'm just not as focused today, but oh well. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and until our next check-in, peace out, people.